I understand why I'm rejected by the great majority. People are not looking for the truth. They are looking for a match. I'm here in a world of lies, a literal lie culture, to bring truth, the actual truth about actual reality. And whether you are a conscious and deliberate liar, or simply somebody who has believed lies and repeats them to others, everybody is always looking for a match. It doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor, consciously deceitful or sincere, whether you are looking for a lover, a friend, or a business partner, or whatever. What we are looking for in the other people we meet is a matching energy, a matching ethos, somebody who lives in the same reality as us, somebody we can understand and relate to, and who may return the favour. And this is why and how the truth bringer, the truth speaker, is consistently rejected, not recognised, assumed to be a liar, a fool, or a delusional. Because in this world right now, a truth bringer does not match anybody's reality. People are not looking for the truth. They are looking for a match. And this is unfortunate for us all, because the truth is, in truthful reality, the most helpful and useful thing that there is. So, literally, actually, we reject the most helpful and useful thing that there is. Literally, actually, in reality, you reject the most helpful and useful thing that there is. The truth. Because you are looking to be connected with those people who you feel you can best get along with in this uncertain world of ours. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. Truly. We are all subject to this. But that does not stop it from being true, and it does not keep you from having to live the consequences of it. So let me provide an example here. A really very big and clear example of what I'm talking about that affects us all around the world. Let's take a big existential question, one that should be meaningful to every human being in the world. Why are we here? This is a simple enough question. It's a question a child will ask and expect that somebody will be able to answer it for them. But as a species, as a collective, we have not been able to agree amongst ourselves on an answer to this question. no religion has been able to convince everybody in the world that it has the answer to this question, and no scientist has been able to convince everybody in the world that they have the answer to this question. It is the simplest of questions, and it does actually have the simplest of answers. But, as I say, nobody here is actually looking for the truth. They are looking for people to get along with. They are looking for the best match they can find. And the vast majority of the people in the world have felt they needed to choose between the one or the other, between religion or science. Because, really, what else is there to choose from? There are several billion people on the religious side, and there are several billion people on the scientific side. And there is one single, largely reclusive individual in the centre. What is one to choose in such a situation? The religious answer to our question of why we are here is God. God put us here, and nobody put God here. God is just here. How is this possible? It is impossible for a human to know and understand this great mystery. All we can do is have faith. The scientific answer to the question of why we are here is that the universe is composed of blind energetic forces that interact with each other and sometimes achieve a level of complexity of interaction that mistakes itself for consciously existing. And how did these blind energetic forces come about? It's hard to tell. All we can do is keep looking at them more closely and hope that somebody will work it out conclusively eventually. The truth, the actual and simple truth that has always been true and always had to be the truth, is that there are some truths that are existentially incapable of not being true. Existentially incapable of not being true in any place, at any time, at any scale. These truths did not become true. They just are true for no other reason than that it is impossible for them not to be. And this is the truth. The only viable reason for the existence of a God or of blind energetic forces in the first place is that there are underlying truths that are existentially incapable of not being true, that make God or blind energetic forces possible at all. The logic of this is inescapable because if you are a God believer and say that there are no truths that make it so, that God is God, you are essentially saying there is no truth to God being God. Yes? And just so, if you are a theoretical physicist and say that there are no truths that make it so, that blind energetic forces exist, then you are essentially saying there is no truth to there being blind energetic forces. This statement I'm making here, this truth I am giving here, that there are truths that cannot not be true. It may sound like a simple and innocuous enough thing to say. In truth, it is a simple enough thing to say, but it is far from innocuous, because it breaks all religion and it breaks all science. And half the population of the world have found their match on the religious side, and half the population of the world have found their match on the scientific side. Two halves make a whole. This means that the whole population of the world is not interested in this truth, because the whole population of the world is really only interested in finding the best match it can for itself. There is one man in this world who can give a coherent and truthful answer to the question, why are we here? That man being myself. And nobody sees themselves as a match for me. None of you see me as a match for you. The religions are overwhelmingly concerned with their own furtherance. And the sciences are overwhelmingly concerned with their own furtherance. This is the truth. This is the truth. And if the one biggest threat to the furtherance of a religion is the actual foundational truth of reality, then that religion will see the actual foundational truth of reality as its biggest threat. And if the one biggest threat to the furtherance of the sciences is the actual foundational truth of reality, then the sciences will see the actual foundational truth of reality as their biggest threat. And if the entire population of the world sees either religion or science as its own best match, then the entire population of the world will see the actual foundational truth of reality as a threat to its own best match. This is why bringing the truth gets me rejected. Bringing the truth gets me rejected because none of you want it. Bringing the truth gets me rejected because none of you want it. The truth is the most helpful and useful thing that there is. And I know it, and I share it freely. have been doing so for a few years now. And none of you want it. It is the most helpful and useful thing in the world to you. To you. And you do not want it. Because you do not know enough truth to even want it. This is the truth. This is the truth. There is a treasure hunt of the foundational truths of reality on my website, amongst some other things. It would not take you long at all to decide whether any of it is a match for you or not, but you cannot view it unless you take yourself there and view it. It is there. It is free. I'm not looking to get money from you. I'm not looking to get you to join some movement or cult I have come up with. I'm literally just a guy who worked out what the simplest, most foundational truths of existence are, and is trying to share them with a world of people who need them, but are too confused to want them. More than anything, I am an artistic type who likes writing songs and stories. Working out the foundational truths just came about unexpectedly for me. And now I'm trying to share them. And I have been taken completely by surprise at how powerfully resistant everybody really is to hearing the simplest truths. I believe you owe it to yourself to take a look before you decide to reject the actual foundational truth of reality. To reject the most helpful and useful thing to you before you have even looked at it. Well, that is what is known as self-sabotage. Do you see yourself as doing that?